I'm from Mexico, so it's quite different from the perspective from what you guys have here, because in Mexico we don't really pay too much attention to those things, because I mean there are much more difficulties there. I mean there's a lot. I mean it's chaos right now at that place. I mean my country is run by cartels, and there are murders everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit complicated to stop and think about it like people here in Europe does, actually. People don't have enough money to live, so they're searching for the easiest way to, I mean, they live day by day. I mean, they don't see themselves as people here, like studying or searching for what to do in the future or how to support themselves. I mean, they live on a daily basis. They have to worry every day about what they're going to eat, where they're going to get the water, and stuff like that.
Well, I'm from Russia, and there we often have this thing at work, for example, if a woman does better at something and actually getting a higher position than a man, men often don't really like to listen to her, and like avoid contacting, and it's really hard to like get a higher position in managing men.
It's very obvious in China, I think so, because in our traditional thinking or culture, they all think boys are more important than the girls. But now recently it has changed a lot, and it's weird, maybe 20 years ago, one family, if have a boy, if they have a new boy birth, they will feel very happy. But now recently it's changed. Many families may still want to have boys, but now more and more families prefer to have girls.
The male have the power in my countries very much, but the woman is still the subordinate in my country. And for example, in my family, my brother still have the power to decide everything compared with my sister. We can't share my opinion directly. My mom and my dad always follow my brother, something like that, even if I...
The industries are not balanced when it comes to gender, I think. For instance, in Norway as well, it's like most at the law study, it's so many girls, like law and medicine, because girls, maybe they know earlier, I don't know what it is, this like good girl
mentality.
Yeah, stempel. I don't know how stamp. It's like a very big thing in Scandinavia that is like, but then it's loads of boys that is going on now and saying like, but I'm also a good girl. I have this like good girl mentality. So that's like that's the debate as well. So it's like boys also have it. But now, because it's like it's not equal at all at the study, so they doing like quotations. So it needs to be at least 20 boys that is getting into the study, even though they don't have the grade to get in. But is that fair? Because what about the girls that work really, really hard to get in and that don't get in because it needs to be boys that's getting in?
Yeah, I mean,
which is interesting.
That's very interesting.
And it's the same for like technology as well. I have a friend, he really wanted to go to this event. He thought the talk looked amazing, but it was only for lesbian, like LGBT, I think about minority, like everything except like a white male that could attend it. And he was like, oh, I really would like to attend it. They were like, no, you can't, because you don't fit under these categories. Which is also very interesting. He was like, but okay. Wow.
Inequality. One time I wanted to shave my hair as well, and I went to a hairdresser where it was written £5 per haircut, and I come in and I say, I just need to shave my sides. It was literally it, and they said, no, only men had, but like it's the same haircut as the man does. What's the difference? I didn't really understand. Because London is a very tolerant city for me. In terms of gender and everything. Definitely. Because in Russia I couldn't be wearing this haircut properly. I would get a lot of comments, like not comments, but like angry looks, because people are not used to people doing things differently. And before I had dreadlocks, that's why I cut them off, and then before I had dreadlocks, and people just like sitting on the ground and they take another seat, not on the same bench as me, because I'm having dreadlocks. What's wrong?
As a musician, especially, there's so in a way like operating kind of liberal fields, you know, of like kind of left wing habitats and like that, and then you recognize that even in these liberal, open, left-wing environments, people are still really fucking sexist. People are still really sexist, and you hear like people you respect saying stuff like, "No, you can't have a girl drummer," or I would go play gigs, and there was a singer who would sing with us, and it would happen that like the bouncer at the door would just automatically think that she was one of our girlfriends and not one of the musicians, and I can ask her to pay.
Wow.
Or we would be on stage. She would ask the sound guy to have a different setting in her monitors, and like sound guys would just talk to me. They wouldn't talk to her. So it is. I mean, and these are stupid examples. There are a million examples of things like that. So it is a privilege that I do feel personally, and I think I feel it because I'm conscious of it. The thing with sexism is no one feels like a sexist. Like no, if you're interviewing people and you're asking them like, are you sexist? No one's going to say I'm sexist, because before. Like I think the paradox is that the people who are going to answer yes, I'm sexist, are the people who actually aren't. I would say yes, I'm sexist, because I've been educated in a patriarchal society that makes my automatic thing, like my automatic response, a sexist response, or a racist response, or a classist response. And because I'm conscious of it, I can fight it in my behavior. And I can be careful and I can try to behave well.
Yeah.
But it's such a deep thing that you don't realize that you're in it too unless you're fighting it, I think.
Like Thailand is a very what I say, sexualized country. I mean they have like a lot of I think it's like the Thailand shares this problem with many other countries. I think like the victim blaming in like rape and stuff.
Yeah.
They don't really when you go to like a police station to report a rape or like a sexual assault, they just don't ask you like the first questions that come up them are usually are not like who did it, when did it happen, but they're just like, did you like dress provokingly, did you like go out alone at night and stuff like that. It's like that's just I don't know. There's a head or not, but yeah, that's to me it's just like it's not cool. Like it's you shouldn't blame the victim that they've been harassed. They should be like protected, not like blamed.
I don't really know, but of course it's differences because we are different. But the differences doesn't need to be bad, and it doesn't need to be like categorized in that way that is like, okay, girls should be like this. This is the assumption of and the expectations. And for instance, like my expectation, this is when I came here to Goldsmiths, I was told that I was not acting like an Asian girl because I was like really loud, and I'm very Scandinavian. And then I also thought of, because my training is from Italy, so I have like the Italian loudness and then the very direct Norwegianness. It's a weird combination.
I think the idea of patriarchy is really bad for men too. I think the idea of patriarchy is an image of what a man is supposed to be, which I don't think is realistic either, and I don't think is right. Patriarchy is obviously structurally like more oppressive towards women, but just this whole idea of having a role that a woman, like a woman is this, a man is that, a woman can do that, a man can do that, I think is horrible and kind of oppressive. So that there are disadvantages being a man under the patriarchy. That being said, the patriarchy tends to advantage men more than it does women. We get paid more, we have access to more jobs.
Well, I remember as a kid that I really enjoyed playing with cars, and one of my friends in kindergarten was playing with Barbie dolls while I was playing, with cars, and some of the students, and I think even the teacher or the teacher's assistant was kind of inquiring as to why he was playing with Barbie dolls. And as a child, you're kind of like, you play with whatever you want to play with. It shouldn't really matter, but just having that reinforced in education and having that understanding that after the fact is.
I don't know. For example, in Mexico, there's a tradition that when you're getting married, it's a bride's family, the one that pays for the wedding. Yeah. I don't know why. But for example, my sister choose to go against that, and she pays for her own wedding.
Amazing.
Yeah, which I think it's pretty normal nowadays, right?
Yeah.
But now some of my cousins that don't live in the city are actually pretty attached to that tradition, to that custom.
In China, in our tradition, if you have boys in your home, in the future, the parents will buy a house for them or buy something for them, because they didn't have so much money when they are married. But if they have girls, they don't have to do so, because the future husband will buy the house.
Test your own assumptions about what's right and what's wrong before even worrying about other people. And if you look at inside yourself hard enough, you find all this stuff which is strongly biased against women and against people of other backgrounds. So in a way, you are your first enemy, which is what most revolutionary movements say. That you have to recognize the enemy in yourself before, looking for it elsewhere.